Violence does, in truth, recoil upon the violent, and the schemer falls into the pit that he has dug for another. These are the words of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle from his famous book, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Karma. What others endure because of us can one day turn around and become our fate. And so, once upon a time, the clouds of war had been gathering over Germany since the German takeover of Austria. And no one knew this better than Otto Zimmermann. Otto ran a small newspaper that he had inherited from his father. Though he had spent most of his life in the town of Brunswick, Otto had a way of predicting the world events way before they unfolded. And he could see that his beloved country was stepping into a time which, when they looked back, would fill them with nothing but regret. He watched very closely as Hitler's Nazi Germany passed special decrees against the Jews. It happened over the years, systematically. In 1933, he witnessed the boycott of Jewish books and businesses. In 1934, Jews were excluded from exams like medicine and pharmacy. In 1935, they were denied basic civil rights. In 1936, Jews lost German citizenship and were not allowed to vote. In 1938, special identity cards were issued to the Jews and Jewish children were expelled from their schools. In 1939, Jews were evicted without reason from their homes. In 1940, Jews could not have telephones and were forbidden rations. In 1941, Jews were forced to wear a special Star of David with Jew written on it. For 9 years, Otto watched his country target the Jews, and for 9 years, he saw no one from his country raising a voice against this atrocity. On a winter morning in 1941, Otto asked his wife, Adalia, to get ready to move out of Brunswick, and Germany for that matter. Adalia did not understand why Otto would want to do something like that. We are not Jews. We have nothing to fear. Why would we move out of Germany? Otto took a bite of the sandwich that Adalia had made for him for breakfast and spoke with immense concern. Adalia, let me tell you a story that my father used to tell me when I was little. Adalia sat on the chair next to him and poured herself a mug of warm coffee, ready to listen to her husband. A Zen master once asked his disciple to find him the most foolish man in the world. Otto launched into his narrative, wiping his hands with his napkin. The disciple found this a strange request, but he did not question the master. The disciple began his journey and traveled through many lands, cities, countries, and did come across a lot of fools, but none of them would qualify as the most foolish in the world. Then one day the disciple found himself in the sultanate of a very powerful sultan. He learned that the sultan was furious with his vizier and had appointed a new one to take his place. On that day, the new vizier was to take his seat by the sultan's side, but after a very peculiar ritual, the new vizier had to step on the murdered body of the old vizier and then take his seat. As the ceremony began, the new vizier stepped on the dead body with newfound pride and then sat himself down next to the Sultan with giant smugness. The crowd cheered wildly and the Wazir waved. As soon as the ceremony was done, the disciple asked the Wazir if he would accompany him to meet his master. The Wazir inquired why, and the disciple told him that his master had asked him to find the biggest fool, and he had found one after a really long search. Otto then looked at his wife. Do you know why the Wazir was the biggest fool? Adalia thought a moment and then nodded. I know why. When you climb over someone's body to get somewhere, one day, some other would climb over your dead body. No one is a Wazir forever. Otto smiled at his wife. She was clever. We must leave this place, Adalia, because the German people stand quiet and watch the evils committed against the Jews. What we forget is that today we might be the new Wazir, but a day is not far when we shall be the old one. Adalia held her husband's hand. She knew he was right.